Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Welcome to the 88th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Why I Am No Longer a Freelance Writer. You guys, first off, I want to say, don't get me wrong. I love freelance writing. This podcast is called Dietitian Side Hustle, and I talk about all of the amazing side hustles out there. Now, freelance writing was one of my first side hustles and one of my true loves. I have been doing it for years. I started about 7 years ago is when I started freelance writing. And when I started the brand Dietitian Side Hustle, I started doing income reports. If you're not familiar with my income reports, you can go over to my website, dietitiansidehustle.com, click on the blog tab, and you'll see there's an income report from 2019, 2020, 2021. In those income reports, I share how I make money in my business. I also share my expenses and like all the nitty-gritty details of what behind the scenes of a business looks like. So if you go there and you start looking from 2019, you'll see that in 2019, I actually made $3,885 through freelance writing that year, which was amazing. And it was a great opportunity. And I was so grateful for it. In 2022, I made $3,200, which was a little bit less. But then in 2021, last year, I made $0 through freelance writing. And I can tell you right now in 2022, I am no longer a freelance writer. So let me share with you guys a little bit why I'm not a freelance writer anymore and kind of what happened along this journey from primarily being a freelance writer as my side hustle to now no longer doing freelance writing gigs. So the big game changer for me was when I started my blog. I started my blog, The Geriatric Dietitian, on my birthday, June 29th, 2019. So my blog is close to being 3 years old, which is bananas. So I started my blog as a way for me to reach more people, make more impact, but then also make passive income. Now, I ended up learning about blogging, and in the past, I always thought that a blog was something that was like a hobby, right? Like you wrote about what you ate, what you did on the weekend, your dad reads it, your mom reads it, your neighbor reads it. I didn't realize that a blog can be a legitimate business. So I started my blog, and over time, through search engine optimization and other business strategies, I was able to grow my traffic to where lots and lots of people were coming to the website. Now, as lots of people were coming to the website, I started doing strategies to monetize my website, which means make money blogging, right? So through my website, as of right now, I make money through ad revenue. That's the big one. So when you go to my website, if you see ads, know that I'm making money with your eyeballs seeing those ads. I also have affiliate links. So through Amazon Associates is the primary affiliate program that I use. So if someone clicks on my Amazon link, I get a tiny commission on what they purchase if they purchase within 24 hours of clicking on my link. I also sell digital goods. I sell a course, and I sell ebooks, mostly e-cookbooks. So I make money through multiple streams of passive income on my blog. But here's the deal about blogging. Blogging is a long-term game. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. So when you first start blogging, you're not making a lot of money. But if you stick with it, over time, you're building more traffic, you're building more income streams, you're making more money. In the end, totally worth it. I'm going to share the numbers in just a minute. But in the beginning, you're not making a lot of money. So when I was sharing how I made almost $4,000 in 2019 through freelance writing, made a little bit less in 2020, then made none in 2021, what was happening was a shift in my business model, where before I would write for other people to make money. Over time, as I started writing for myself, I was writing for myself more and writing for other people less. And then I eventually switched over and stopped writing for other people. And the reason for this was about the money that I could make for the time that I put in. So when I was a freelance writer, it was lovely. Don't get me wrong. It's a great opportunity to learn about a subject, educate people about a subject, do work on your own time, your own schedule, build up your portfolio, get all of these skills and make money in the moment, which is so lovely. When I was doing freelance writing, most of the time I was getting paid about 10 cents per word. So I actually just recently pulled up an article that I wrote on vitamin D in older adults. Great article. And for that article, I made $150, which again, at the time I was like, woohoo, this is so cool. And it was so lovely. But the thing is I made $150, one and done. From that point on, once I submitted that contract, I'd never made another penny on that. Where with my own blog, when I put in the same amount of effort and energy and write an article for my website, this article stays on my website long term, forever, as long as I'm maintaining the website, right? And I'm able to make more money through my blog articles that I'm writing. So to paint a picture of this, I went and looked at my top performing blog article right now. It's well, actually, I don't have that one pulled up right now. I'll share with you guys that one in a minute. But there's another article that I wrote on colonoscopy diet prep. So this is an article that I wrote. And if I would have written this article for someone else's blog, I probably would have gotten paid $150. One and done, right? So this is an article I wrote for myself, put it on my own blog. Keep in mind, my blog is over 2.5 years old. It's building, I've got lots of traffic, lots of people coming to it. But in the last 30 days alone, this one blog article has made $220. So let me paint that picture. Same time and effort to write a blog article for someone else, I'm paid $150. Same time and effort, write a blog article for me, and I made $220 in the last 30 days. Now, I will tell you this article has already made over $2,000 total, one article. And as long as it's on the website and I maintain my SEO, it's going to continue to make money month after month, year after year. And oh my gosh, what a blessing. I got to tell you guys a quick story about this particular article. This was last year. It was in the end of 2022 and then into 2021 was kind of a tough season when I was having some health issues and they're trying to figure out what is going on with Katie and her GI tract. I ended up having 3 colonoscopies in a 6-month period. And let me tell you something about me. I love to eat. Fasting is like horrible for me. I hate fasting. Clear liquid diet, I don't like it at all. It is horrible. It is just as bad as not eating, almost worse, because then you don't ever want to drink those liquids again because, ugh. So here I was prepping for my 3rd colonoscopy. So if you're not familiar with the colonoscopy prep diet, that's where you're eating, it just changes in your diet, right? You do a clear liquid diet and then you're fasting and then you do your colonoscopy and then praise the Lord, you could eat again. And so I remember going through this period and it's this day of clear liquids where I literally feel like I'm dying and I'm quite dramatic. I'm very dramatic about not eating. So I remember feeling so miserable and then thinking, you know what? I can't eat, but let me blog about this. I've done this so many times. I'm a dietitian. I found a decent keyword, a topic I could write about. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write a blog article about how to prepare for a colonoscopy. Like what type of diet should you follow as you prepare for it? So I actually wrote this article. I have a picture of me with, I think, my Sprite or something on the blog article, but I'm really glad I wrote it because it was a miserable day. But then what came out of it, I'm like, hey, I've already made $2,000 out of that miserable day and helped more people in the process, right? So that article holds a special place in my heart for a not so positive reason. But anyways, so I pulled up a couple of other just little stats from my ad network. I use an ad network called Mediavine. They're what we call a high-end ad network. You have to have 5,000 sessions. Think of that as people coming to your website every month to qualify for Mediavine. But once you get in, they pay you top dollar for people coming to your website and seeing the ads. So it's a wonderful company. They act as a middleman between bloggers and ad networks or companies, I guess. And what they do is they put code on your website and then the ads show. They make life easy peasy. They're wonderful to work with. So I was looking at my Mediavine dashboard and I wanted to mention the article on my website that's doing the best right now. And this one article in the last 30 days has made $411 through ad revenue, which again, had I written that same article, I would have probably been paid $150, one and done, where just 30 days, $411. And actually the kicker about that particular article, it's on high fiber cereals. I didn't write it. A dietetic intern wrote it for me. She did such a lovely job. So I have quite a few articles on my website that are making really good money. One article that I wrote on high calorie smoothies has already made over $5,000, which is ridiculous. So sharing those numbers, that's kind of the behind the scenes on why I'm no longer a freelance writer, because By writing for myself as a blogger, as a business owner, I can make so much more money and make passive income. So when I was a freelancer, I was making active income, meaning I was trading time for money. I would get a contract, I would work until the paper was done, I would submit it, I would be paid one and done. Passive income is where I create that article once because I have systems in place where people are coming to my website on a regular basis and I have income streams. I'm able to make that passive income. We also might call it money you make in your sleep. I check my phone. It's like, I didn't do any work on the blog, but I made money. And it is so much fun. So here's the thing about business and being an entrepreneur, whether or not you're doing freelance writing or blogging as a business or whatever you're doing, ultimately we have to make the decision with the time that we're working, with the efforts that we're contributing. We have to figure out, are we going to spend our time building our dreams or building someone else's dreams? When I was doing contract writing, I was creating a lot of value for them. They paid me money for that article, recognizing that they were going to use that to bring in more people, to provide more value for their audience and make more money for their company. So when I was a freelance writer, I was spending time building other people's dreams. It was helpful for me in the interim because I was getting paid. And again, it was a wonderful opportunity. Where on this back end, now that I'm blogging as a business, writing for myself, I'm spending all the same effort, same time, same energy, building my own dreams and my own business. So I think it comes down to deciding if you're like, man, I want to be a writer, whether or not it's freelance writing or blogging or both, figuring out what you want to do with your business model, with your side hustle model. Do you want to spend your time working for other people, which is totally legit and reasonable? Some people, the idea of marketing or doing these things sounds horrible. That is fine. If you're just looking for a gig to pay you a little bit of money, that is perfectly fine. Or maybe you want to work for yourself exclusively, recognizing it takes time to build up, regardless of what you do in business, blogging or elsewise. It takes time to build up to really start making decent money. Or do you want to do both for a season? So for me, when I started my blog, I was still doing freelance writing because the time I was spending writing for my blog, I was not getting paid in the beginning. I'll actually share some numbers. It might be helpful to see that. So I wasn't making money in the beginning when I would write for myself, but I knew long-term, I would build traffic and make so much more money with these articles I was writing for myself. So it was this balance between time, between writing for other people and making money now and writing for me and making not a lot of money. But then eventually I got to that tipping point where I was starting to make money for myself and it just was not worth my time to write for other people. So for me, it was recognizing that blogging takes time. If you've ever listened to me talk about blogging, you'll always hear me say blogging is a long-term game. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. When I share these numbers, I know it sounds like, oh, wow, that's so cool. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes intention and consistent motivation, which can be hard to maintain, right? Like motivation's can be up and down. So it takes time, it takes strategy, but then also a balance between, you got to balance your life. If you got to make money and you got to pay the bills now, it's a balance of taking gigs that are going to pay you now versus doing the work that you know is going to pay you so much more later. So I always share passive income reports through my blog, and I shared through this group and then also on my Instagram page, Dietitian Side Hustle. And I share every month how much passive income my blog is making. Now, I also share in a webinar, which I'll be doing again on Wednesday. I'll share more about that in a moment. But I share on this webinar how much money my blog has made every step of the way. And I break time into 6-month chunks. So the first 6 months of my blog, the next 6 months, so the next 6 months, just to kind of put it in a little tangible bite-sized package. So the first 6 months of blogging, I made a whopping $59. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I will tell you I was excited because it was passive income. It was passive income through selling handouts on RD2RD. It's a wonderful website for selling digital products. So I had links to these handouts and resources on my website that went to RD2RD. And it was cool because I made these handouts once and I didn't do anything else with them. I was just making sales on autopilot. So even though it was only $59, I was pretty happy with it. Now, the next 6-month chunk, I ended up publishing my first e-cookbook. And in that 6-month chunk, I made $774. That's because my website was continuing to build in traffic and I was offering more products to sell, more streams of income. The next 6-month chunk, I made $2,044 because again, more traffic. And then the next 6-month chunk, something fun happened. I was able to qualify for media buying and get ads on my website. So the fourth 6-month chunk of my blog, I made $15,493. The next 6-month chunk, $23,000. And I'm still in the middle of my, I guess, sixth 6-month chunk, and it's going to continue to be higher than the previous 6 months. So I'm going to say those numbers again for these 6-month chunks of my blog: $59, $774, $2,000, $15,000, $23,000. Do you guys see how that number just really increases? In the beginning, I didn't make a lot of money, but I was doing freelance gigs. But then as I was making more money for the blog, I stopped doing freelance gigs because I wanted to spend time writing for my blog. The more I write for my blog, the more money I make. So last year, through my blog, The Geriatric Dietitian, I made $39,000 in completely passive income through blogging. And that far exceeds even just a teensy amount of money that I made through freelance writing the 2 previous years, right? And I will share that those monthly income reports that I do, since October of 2021, every month I've been making over $4,000 in passive income. So I am no longer a freelance writer because I've built a business based in blogging. So if you want to learn more about this blogging as a business and how you can make money blogging, you can check out my free webinar that I'm offering this Wednesday. It's going to be on Wednesday, the 18th, 2022, if you're listening to this live. To register for the webinar, I want you to visit blogfreebie.com, blogfreebie, blogfreebie.com. If you go there, it's going to give you the link to register for the event live. If you're listening to this podcast episode later, go to the same website, blogfreebie.com. It's going to be, I changed the website, I redirect it to a different link, and you'll be able to access the webinar on demand. So you can watch it anytime that you want. But make sure that you register for that webinar because I'm going to walk you through all the behind the scenes numbers. I'm going to share on my screen and show you all the details of how I built my blog business. I'm going to talk to you about how you make money blogging. How do you create a website? How do you do SEO? How do you actually make money blogging? So make sure that you register for that. And also, I'm actually recording this live on the Dietitian Side Hustle Facebook show. And I'm like, my mind's blanking. What have I told the podcast and what have I told the live show? But I don't think I've told podcast listeners yet, but the Blogging Accelerator program, my exclusive program where I help dietitians build a business based in blogging, launch a blog into the online space, make multiple streams of income, including passive income, without seeing patients. That program has opened. It is now available. The doors have been closed since February of this year, and the program is now open from May 15th to May 31st. We are limiting enrollment to 30 people. So the doors are going to close at the end of May 2022 or when we hit capacity. If you want to learn more about the Blogging Accelerator program, visit bloggingacceleratorprogram.com. There's information about the program. You can sign up. You can now apply for funding if you want to get low monthly payments, or you could apply for a free strategy session with me. We get on a call. We talk about, is the Blogging Accelerator program the best fit for you? And one thing I promise in that call is that you're going to get a lot of clarity in where you're at, clarity in where you want to be, and what you need to do to reach your goals. So even if you figure out the Blogging Accelerator program isn't the best fit for you, you're going to get a lot of clarity in the direction for your business. And if you decide to join, we're just going to have a fun time chatting. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm very excited about the Blogging as a Business webinar and this next launch of the Blogging Accelerator program. I hope this episode was interesting and educational for you on why I am no longer a freelance writer. And yeah, thanks so much for listening, and we'll chat next time. Hey guys, thanks for listening to that episode. If you are listening to this live, make sure you head on over to blogfreebie.com and register for our free Blogging as a Business webinar. And if you're listening to this later on, still go to that website and you can catch the replay. And if you want to learn more about the Blogging Accelerator program, go to bloggingacceleratorprogram.com. I am so excited that after all this time, the doors are finally open. Have a great day, guys.